Tired of serving up the same old tasteless victuals to your family? Step up your grill game with new seasonings from Coy's Southern Eats. Based off famous Southern recipes, our seasonings will add what's been missing to your family's feast. Add it to steak, chicken, shrimp, you name it. Serving up these fixings is going to make you the hero at home. So head on over to coyssoutherneats.com and order yours today. Come get you some.
And welcome to the Wednesday, November 15th edition of the Huddle with Marty Houston. I'm your host, Jason Patterson. I want to say thank you to Coy's Southern Eats, our sponsor. I got a chance to go see them, Marty, over the weekend at the Northwest Arkansas Convention Center in Springdale. And they had an incredible booth set up, and it was a lot of traffic through there. And so I was talking to Alan and Tracy for just a minute. I got to meet Gwencho, which they just released a product line named after him. Great seasoning. You can add it to, steak, chicken, beef, whatever you want. It's for fajitas, tacos, whatever you got. So they said, hey, we want to make sure that we are giving you guys a little bit of a note to give the listeners and the folks out there watching something to kind of keep tuning back into and seeing. And I got a little bit of a present for everybody, and we're going to do a giveaway after the Arkansas-Missouri game. Now, this is retailed at just right around $100, and this is an incredible box I got here, my man. It is freaking loaded.
Oh yeah, look at that.
You got 6 different spices. I got the Greek seasoning, the wild game seasoning, the barbecue shake, Gwencho's blend, which, by the way, we used this weekend, and it was really good. Got the garlic butter seasoning, and then the famous house seasoning. I got the cracker tin. Also, the Southern Eats. Hold on just a second here. This is their Coy's famous house dressing mix. And then there's a 2-pound shaker bag for chicken, wild game, whatever you got. And we're going to be giving this away right after the Missouri game, and we're going to do a contest. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it quite yet, but you know what? We want to give Coy some props because this is a great box, man.
Well, I just heard from one of my friends, my buddy Nick, and I think he wants to go for that. That's right up his alley.
I'm going to tell you what, make sure to go check out coyseats.com. You can pick up all of their great seasonings for tailgates, cookouts, anything you want to cook with, man. This box is for you. So be sure to tune in. We'll do a giveaway after the Missouri game.
Man, that would take care of a lot of stocking stuffers right there.
Oh, wouldn't it though? I'm telling you.
Yeah,
man.
Absolutely.
And also be on the lookout here in the near future in Hot Springs. The Coy Steakhouse Satellite Cafe will be reopening in Hotel Hot Springs coming this spring.
I'm really excited and pumped about that. In fact, I got some friends in Hot Springs. I like Koi Steakhouse is coming back, and
Yeah.
they didn't even realize it, and been seeing some of the news on that, and looking forward to the return of Koi's to Arkansas. We've missed it.
And so Hogville, myself, will be down there with the grand reopening of the Koi Satellite Cafe there
Oh,
in
yeah.
Hot Springs. So we're going to do a live feed from there, and I can't wait. It's going to be exciting and fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I may have to come down there and join you.
Hey, I'll take anybody that wants to come. I think it'll be a great time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good eating. Good eating. I know that for sure.
Ooh. Man, I'm going to tell you, Tracy, Alan, Clay, they all, I'm telling you, they'll treat you right when you go down there too. It's like home, I'm telling you.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm telling you, this coaching carousel starting to fire up a little bit. You saw the record-breaking buyout of Jimbo Fisher, which I don't think you're going to see that kind of stupid money again. I think that A&M set the bar way too high and let everybody else in college football know, hey, this is not the route to take.
I don't know. Texas A&M's been doing it for so long, and we were talking about it this week that, they really. I mean, I could go back to the early '80s.
Yeah,
when they threw money at Jackie Sherrill, who had just won a national championship at Pitt, and threw crazy money for the '70s at him then. Kevin Sumlin, bringing him in from Houston, and then hiring Jimbo Fisher, and then LSU was going after Jimbo. LSU was kind of in that same mode where they throw a lot of money, and they just did it to their current coach. The thing is, I think that they put so much pressure on the position that it's hard to succeed unless you're winning a national championship there. How many times have you heard of a coach being fired after they've won a game? And that's where they are.
Yeah.
I'm going to say realistically, because I think that A&M has got this kind of talent. You could be looking at a team that's won 9 games that fires their coach. They could, they're going to play Abilene this weekend, and then they've got LSU, and then a bowl game.
Season. Yep.
They win those 3 games, they're a 9-win team. They're already a bowl eligible team, and that wasn't good enough. Even in a very tough SEC, and they just keep throwing money at it, and it's not good enough. And $76 million, it's just, it's crazy. If I was Jimbo Fisher, I would sit back and just enjoy the money for a while, because he is guaranteed that amount of money. A lot of schools will be looking at that. It's a big business. I was just listening to Sam Pittman talking today about NIL money and Arkansas needing to really get a handle on that for recruiting, and that they need to grow the pool for NIL money. And I'm like, that's where we are in today's college athletics. We are talking about literally openly buying players. And it's become that kind of business. I used to be a lot more forgiving of these coaches, and I'm not anymore. Even though they're great guys, nice guys, but they're rich guys too. And they are going to walk away with a lot of money. Yeah, if Arkansas were to make a decision on Sam Pittman, he's going to walk away with $15 million. He's doing all right. The assistant coaches, that's something else that they're not looking at, Jason, is that you could be looking at $150 million for the buyout once A&M takes care of buying out all of the assistant coaches that he has, including Bobby Petrino. And so, it gets even crazier with it. But there's that kind of money out there for some of these schools. And again, here's Sam Pittman talking about getting into the recruiting season, needing to grow the NIL money. That's what's going to attract the top talent and being in that arena and competing on that level, you're talking about, again, openly, the coaches openly talking about buying players. That just to be honest and frank about it.
Yeah, I was looking at the buyout scale of the tiers that Jimbo's going to get. So within the first 60 days, he's going to get a little over $19 million. At the 120-day mark, he'll get another 7.25. And then for the next 7 years after that, he gets 7.25 as well. And that takes care of his buyout. And that'll be over the next 7 years.
Yeah, that's guaranteed. That's not saying that he could get another job that pays him, $5 million, or something like that. I mean, he doesn't have to do anything, but jump back into that. But he could throw money on top of that guaranteed money that A&M's giving him.
Yeah, Steven 1383 said, "Could we stop paying buyouts and spend that money on more expensive coaches? Would that even help us?" He said, "Also, I know we have to pay the buyouts we owe. I mean, pay a better coach." Well, I think what the university is also looking at is that if they pay Sam his buyout, all the assistant coaches the buyout, are they able to bring in a coach at say $7 to $10 million a year, and they have to counter that with, okay, we can sell this much in revenue, tickets, sponsorship ads, all that mess to help kind of counteract some of that. And also, you have to pony up some of that or most of that probably from the donors as well, Marty. And I just, it's hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know how hard it is. I don't know how again, they don't seem like it's hard there at College Station, but it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. And you're talking about, as I just mentioned, the NIL money to go on top of that, and Sam Pittman already talking to grow that. I mean, I think that is part of the issue. I'm not absolving coaches or coaching decisions or the type of offenses that we played, but I just think that we have dropped a little bit in the recruiting ranks and need. It's going to be a busy season for Sam Pittman if he's still in there after the next couple of games. So that they need to really get a bigger footing. You look at Arkansas's recruiting right now, and it's probably not where it's supposed to be. I was looking at some of the rankings for the next 3 years, and it's going to be tough. And I'm telling you, we right now, Arkansas, you talk about in the next 3 years, we're going to have the number one high school quarterback prospect in the country right here in our backyard.
Yeah,
I mean, just being in Arkansas, is that enough to get him? I don't know anymore. They offered him when he was in the 8th grade. Yeah, but I mean, is that going to be enough? Is that going to cut it and getting him in today's college football world?
And that's something that Hunter has to look at too, because he's having to project, with the recruits that he has in the state of Arkansas, the next coaching hire that he makes is going to impact those recruits for the next 3 years. And he has got, if he feels like there needs to be a change, he has got to make a home run hire, because if not, you're going to start seeing all of these kids that are getting shopped around. And I know for a fact there's quite a few now that are looking at Missouri, and some of the top tier kids in the state for this year are looking at Missouri right now as we speak. And you can't do that. It just cannot happen. Unless it just does not fit the mold that you're looking for. You have to look at, the future, the next 3 years. Can Sam, or is it going to be another coach that will be able to capitalize on bringing in the top talent in your state and around that area?
Again, what all is it going to take? Again, Sam Pittman was brought in, a guy that didn't have head coaching experience, but was very well respected in the coaching ranks by other coaches, and known as a good recruiter. He recruited well when he was an offensive line coach with Brett Bielema, and and it's a different world now, as we know. It's a different world of what what it takes. He was talking about it openly today in a press conference, and talking about the NIL money. And he was talking about, should restrictions be placed on it? And he was saying, something's probably needs to be done, but what can you do? What kind of restrictions can you put on it? What kind of guys, what kind of boosters does Arkansas have? Because I'm going to tell you, for us to be in the conversation, I think that Arkansas fans want to be in. I think that you're going to have to get into that top 20 in recruiting classes. You're going to have to be in that top 20, if not top 15, on a regular basis. I really think you need to be in the top 15 in the recruiting classes. That means getting 2 or 3 5-star players, every year, a bunch of 4-stars, I mean, I don't know what the exact numbers is, but it's going to have to be around that. I look at other recruiting classes that are ranked really high, that are ranked in the top 15, and that's what they have. I think what I saw the other day, Arkansas has 1 5-star, and that may be on this year's class. One, yeah. So I mean that, and I think that I don't know if that's on this year going into 2024 or this year that we just played, and that might be Haas, that we're talking about, of the 5-stars, and that you're gonna have to grow that. You're gonna have to figure out a way to recruit that. Well, is it just talking them into coming in and being a Razorback, and getting those guys, because that's what they're looking at. They're looking at those financial opportunities wherever they go to school, obviously, as he was talking about today in his press conference.
Yep. Luke Haas was actually a 4-star coming out of Oklahoma, out of Tulsa.
They may be talking about the next year's class then. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's next year's class, but Arkansas has only had 1 5-star. I saw a stat on this on TV. Arkansas has had 1 5-star since 2013, and that was Sosa game. That was it. Other than that, you're looking at 4 stars. You're looking at 3 stars.
And again, no matter who the coach is, you're gonna have to get in that conversation. I mean, here was Jimbo Fisher, who we're talking about, whose classes were in the top 5.
Yeah,
and that I knew the pressure was going to be on him when he had recruiting classes like that. If you don't win big, he's got that A&M is as talented as anyone out there, and that they were gonna blame the coaches for not being in the national championship discussions right now. Again, win 51-10 and get fired.
Well, this is very reminiscent to me of Nebraska about 20 years ago when they fired Frank Solich for an 8-win season, and then after that, it's just went straight into right in the toilet. Now,
it's a lot of pressure. I mean, a lot of pressure, but these guys are going to be well paid for it, And I think it's almost too much pressure there at A&M. But that they've got the NIL pool, and they've got the money with the buyout that they're doing now. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who they hire and what they pay the next guy that comes in.
So along with A&M, we found out that Zach Arnett was let go to this weekend for Mississippi State. So you got that opening as well. Of course, you've got Michigan State with Mel Tucker. He was out before the season really even started. So you got Michigan State, and then you got A&M, Mississippi State, San Diego State. Brady Hoke is going to retire at the end of the season. So San Diego State now is a job that's open. And then Boise State let go of their coach. And so you kind of wonder if Brian Harsin might make a resurgence back up in Idaho. So I think you might see that happen. I'm not 100%, but I think that that's something that could come down the line pretty quickly.
I think not only him, but I think that you can see some of these guys who have been sitting in the broadcast booth, guys like Urban Meyer could possibly get looks. Guys like Dan Mullen could get looks. I like Dan Mullen a lot, and a lot of pressure there that they put him under there at Florida. So, I mean, I think you could see some of those guys getting looks too, especially with the money that they're talking about now.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, there is no reason, or there is nothing that is trying to prevent them from saying, you know what, don't come back.
Yeah.
It's saying we want you back. Come on, big boy, because we need you right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about I think the going rate is getting to be $7 to $10 million. What does Pittman make? 5.5? He's going to be on the lower end of the scale. And so Arkansas's got to look at, well, how much if they they end up hiring another coach at some time in the future, what they would do the next time. Right now they kind of like where they are. I think the crazy talk that's going on is always going to happen when you've had this kind of season that Arkansas has had. That you get people saying unrealistic things when you don't even have an opening, and they're already out there picking guys like it's been happening. And you look at the last few hires in today's world, I think that Frank Broyles was a little bit more transparent about it. In fact, so transparent, he made Jimmy Johnson mad, trying to bring him in just to show how many high-profile candidates were interested in the Arkansas job back in the 80s when he hired Hatfield. And then Houston Nutt, he basically camped out down here. But even as of the day that they announced Houston Nutt as the coach, you had one of the most respected writers in the history of covering Razorback football saying that it was going to be Tommy Tuberville, and it wasn't. And then the last couple, Bobby Petrino and Brett Bielema, nobody knew. Nobody mentioned them when the job was there open. Nobody knew of these guys. Chad Morris, I think you did kind of hear about him a little bit in the discussion, and Sam Pittman, a little bit, but I don't think that was one that
was a really
lot of markets. They were looking at other guys, So
because they went through I think a few different candidates before Sam was the guy. And I think that's where a lot of fans and I think some critics and folks that do follow the program fairly closely, I think that's where they kind of were, I wouldn't say misled, but I think that's where they were a little off the scent, if you will, because at the end of the day, everybody could have swore to God it was Lane Kiffin. And then all that mess in the background happened and it was not going to happen.
Well, and again, Arkansas could be one of these schools, and I think Mississippi State's going to be one of these schools. You watch them. I don't think they're going to throw a lot of money, not like what you're talking about, with some of these other jobs. But I think they'll go after the hot offensive or defensive coordinator. They had success with that with Dan Mullen when they hired him away. They did lose him later on, and who knows? I think that he may be resurfacing at Mississippi State this year. He might like it, and they might like it. So
sometimes the absence makes the heart grow a little bit fonder too.
Yeah, it does. And I really like Dan Mullen. Most of these guys, I personally I could really like, and they still get fired. Not getting the job done. So. But I mean, I think that you'll have a group of schools that will do that. They'll get the hot upcoming guy. They won't necessarily go after, and Arkansas could be in that group too. Just not opening up the pocketbook, but certainly the going rate is going up.
So one of the names that I heard earlier today, and I saw quite a bit on social media that's catching a lot of attention right now, is Chip Kelly at UCLA. It looks like he's going to be out of there at the end of this year. There's nothing speculated, but from all the people that I have that I follow fairly closely that are close to the program either have said he's either going to be out after this weekend or after next weekend. So you also are looking at UCLA possibly being open as they're going into the Big 12 or the Big 10. That is a lot of transition with a lot of influx going on. And you're going to have, you've got some top tier schools that you're going to be competing against. So you have to look at the tiers of money that you're willing to spend. Are you willing to spend that $7 to $10 million range to get a pretty decent coach in here if Sam is gone? or are you going to go up to that $10 to $12 million range where you're going to get that next rung up? I feel like these are kind of segmented into different, I guess, tiers of coaches that you might be going after.
Well, I've and that's possible. I fall into the camp of thinking that Sam Pittman's going to be here next year. Mm-hmm. I think that could change if Arkansas were to lose to Florida International Saturday. That could trigger some things. But first of all, you look at the $15 million that it would take to buy him out, which is a lot for Arkansas. And I kind of fall into that, see what happens in this next couple of games, and you've got less than a week to get ready for that Missouri game, and I just kind of think that he's going to be in there, and there's always going to be a lot of speculation, but right now I'm not speculating on who Arkansas might hire until there's actually a job opening. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I just kind of think that's where it is. I think that people are predicting things and they don't know. I saw so much over the weekend, and then they had to come back and retract it. Absolutely coming out saying, "Hey, I've got sources saying Sam Pittman's gone," and he wasn't.
Yep.
So. I think that some of it is just jumping, and I fall into that camp thinking that Sam Pittman will be here. This is his fourth season, his first losing season, and that they may give him the chance to right the ship, which will take a lot of really good hard recruiting this year.
Yeah, and I compared Sam in his trajectory with Ed Ogeron's over the summer, in that the hires that he makes are going to dictate what's going to be his future for the next couple of years. We saw Ed make some bad hires after Joe Brady left, and his DC, I forgot his name off the top of my head. He ended up going to Carolina, but his hiring was his demise eventually. That, and also the fact that he wasn't bringing in the top tier recruits that he had in his program the year that they won the national championship. And I felt like with the next round of hires that Sam was going to make was going to dictate what his future was going to be over the next couple of years. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be gone, because as of right now, the university has put their full faith behind him. And as of right now, he's going to be the coach next year. End of story. So, like you said, speculation needs to be put out there, or put to pasture, I should say, until something does come down the line. Now, one of the schools that high profile right now that you might see a coaching change is Michigan. Their coach isn't even on the sidelines, and he had to get pulled off the tarmac on Friday before they took off for the game on Saturday. He's going to be suspended for the rest of the season. Now they are in the top 4, but now does he go on to the NFL after all of these penalties are handed down? Is he going to be trying to coach behind the 8 ball? That's another team you have to look at.
That's true. It'll be another. Again, it happens every year. There will be job openings. The NFL's made runs at Jim Harbaugh, and they will again because he's had success in the NFL. And the NFL will have their set of firings going on as well. So, one of the coaching positions we can speculate on is the offensive coordinator. If Arkansas, which direction Sam Pittman will go with that if he's still the coach. And again, I think a lot will be predicated on what happens this weekend and in the Missouri game.
Yep. I like what Stephen 1383 said here. He says, Coach Williams and Coach Woodson give me hope that Coach Pittman can make good offensive hires. I think that's something that's been overshadowed with the inept output of the offense, is that the people that he brought in to revitalize that defense has kind of went over the last couple of weeks have kind of went by the wayside. Now I understand that, last week with the 48-3 or 48-10 drumming, but that was more of an outlier than what the rest of the season has been.
It is, and and he's up for the Broyles Award, and again, that's one thing that you find out about Pittman. He is well liked among the coaching ranks. He's got a lot of friends in the coaching world who like coaching with him and side by side with him. Talk Barry Odom when he came down after he had just been fired at Missouri and to take the Arkansas job as the defensive coordinator. Kendall Briles, who had been at Florida State, to bring him in. So he knows a lot of guys in the coaching ranks, and they like Sam Pittman.
They do. Well, I think it's just to be kind of a wait and see. We'll have to see how everything kind of turns out. I'm hoping for a good crowd. I'm not expecting a great crowd, but I'm hoping for a good crowd. With Florida International right before Thanksgiving week, and if you've got tickets and you're not going to use them, let somebody else go. Let somebody else that hasn't had the opportunity to go to a football game. It might be a little cool, and there's a good chance it might be a win. I mean, I'm just saying we only had 3 of them this year, so I mean, it might be the 4th. But go watch the Razorbacks this weekend.
Sam Pittman is doing. I mean, Eric Musselman is doing that with basketball because he likes a full arena, and some of these rent-a-win games that he's had early on, that Duke's going to be. I mean, it's going to be packed there at Bud Walton, but he wants it all the time, and he started this program to, hey, turn your tickets in. If you're not going to use them, we'll put them to good use. We'll make sure somebody is going to be there filling that seat. And I don't know, maybe football goes that same direction.
And Razorback Rock commented, he says, I think we're going to be just fine. I think we're going to be all right. And
okay. All right.
I'd love to see
we'll give it the shot. Let it play out and see what happens. Yeah. Again, it's a big business, and a lot of guys that control the money end up making some of these decisions. So,
yep. All right. Well, Marty, I'm going to get you out of here, and we'll be back next week at 7:00. Same channel, same bad time, y'all. And we will see you next week. This has been The Huddle with Marty Houston here on hogville.net YouTube Live. Y'all take care.
Tired of serving up the same old tasteless victuals to your family? Step up your grill game with new seasonings from Coy's Southern Eats. Based off famous Southern recipes, our seasonings will add what's been missing to your family's feast. Add it to steak, chicken, shrimp, you name it. Serving up these fixings is going to make you the hero at home. So head on over to CoysSouthernEats.com and order yours today. Come get you some.